As far as I can tell, we're all here. We have a quorum, correct?
Yeah. Yep, sure do.
Shall
We're ready to go. We're
All
ready
right.
to blast this shit.
Then I say do it.
Do it.
All right, we're going to do it, right?
Do it. Get up on the stage and release the fluid.
That doesn't even rhyme.
Do it and fluid do rhyme.
I guess marginally, but...
That's all it takes, baby.
All right. Here we go. Welcome to a Shinn Show, a special lean and mean edition featuring me, Pete Shinn, here in Maryland. Joining me, son Nicholas and daughter Sarah, both in Omaha. Good afternoon, good day, or good evening.
Salam and good evening, my friends.
Yes, indeed. Sarah, hello.
Hello.
All right, very good. So, man, what a week. Unbelievable week.
Yeah?
Have you actually read the Mueller report?
All 400 pages?
Yeah.
I skimmed it.
Skimmed it. Skimmed the 400-page report. You got the Cliff's Notes.
Well, I paid particular attention to the blacked out parts, so that's really where I focused my attention on.
Redactoid.
Yeah, a lot of blackness there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's fun.
How about you, Sarah? Did you read the whole thing?
Hell no.
I see. Okay, good. And
But I too skimmed it. I've read lots of articles about, people who have actually read it.
Okay, and so what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are that there's still an FBI investigation that's happening, and I'm waiting for that.
Oh, okay, fair enough. That's
Nobody asked me if I read the entire thing.
No one needed to.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't.
Okay.
Just for those at home wondering.
Yeah.
Didn't read any of it, actually.
For the record, yeah.
But I'm just going to go ahead and throw out a shot in the dark as to the conclusion of this report. And the conclusion, I believe, is jack shit. So nothing. There was no collusion from what I heard.
Well, okay.
No evidenceable. I don't think that's a
There's evidence of foreign influence in our politics, which is horrifying.
Okay, but what do I mean? Influence. I'm just saying, like, foreign influence can be quantified in many different ways. I would say there's foreign influence in everyone's politics, right?
Yeah, but did the Russians install malware on your voting machine? Because they did. They did do that.
So what does that mean?
In some locations, not in all locations.
So I mean, they voted for one person and the Russian malware made it so they voted for another?
Well, more likely it made it so that their votes didn't count, which is how gerrymandering and all that kind of shit works anyway.
Well, not really gerrymandering, but voter suppression, certainly. But let me just say this, that from my point of view, here are the key conclusions of the report, at least as we know from the redacted version. Number one, that Russia did interfere in our political system, and that while the Trump campaign welcomed that interference because they knew it was largely on their behalf, they did nothing to actively coordinate with it, meaning that they did not commit any crimes. Two, the president certainly tried to obstruct justice in terms of he tried to shut the investigation down, but his subordinates didn't follow his orders, and so as a result, no obstruction. No obstruction, not because he didn't want to obstruct, but because his subordinates disobeyed him. And you know what? That I find to be immensely encouraging, frankly.
Yeah.
I mean, that means ultimately there are people around the president with ethics. That's great. Yeah. Or at least there were at that time.
So in any potential charges, they would be free and clear.
Well, yes, because ultimately, who is going to charge the president of the United States? The Department of Justice has an existing memo dated back to 1974 that says the president of the United States is immune from indictment. So it really doesn't matter if Mueller said he obstructed, didn't obstruct, whatever. They can't issue an indictment. They're not going to issue an indictment. The bottom line is, just as it's always been, this issue of the president's behavior in office is a political issue that then will have to be taken up by Congress if they feel his behavior is sufficiently egregious to meet the threshold in the Constitution of high crimes and misdemeanors required for impeachment.
Necessitating impeachment. Okay, so here's my follow-up question. Why do you think that they made such a... Why do you think they made a rule that makes it so that the president can't be indicted. What would possibly happen that someone would need to make a rule that says, hey, the president could be indicted in these situations, so let's make it so he can't be indicted so that doesn't get in our way.
Well,
why does that exist?
The answer, from my understanding, now I was only 8 years old in 1974, so I don't have an intimate knowledge of, a contemporaneous knowledge of those facts and circumstances, but it emerged out of Watergate. And the whole,
I was just going to say it's Nixon.
Yeah, so the whole thinking at the time was that ultimately the removal or criminal prosecution of a president ought to be rightly a political matter versus a criminal matter, simply because the president is at the head of the executive branch, which is responsible for law enforcement. So for law enforcement itself to bring charges against the president, there is an inherent conflict of interest there that really it is ultimately Congress's job to resolve, if that makes sense.
It does.
Noah, good of you to join us.
Well,
I see also Elsie and Brad in the background. I will acknowledge you as well, and all that. So, cool. On the Mueller report, what else is going on?
That's it. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that's it. I mean,
that's the big news.
Okay,
yeah.
So that's the big news?
Well, that's not the only big news. Notre Dame was on fire this week.
That's a good
Yeah,
point.
That was the thing.
Which was apropos of my week at
I
work.
just want everyone to know I did that. I lit Notre Dame on fire.
I don't believe that you did light Notre Dame on fire, actually. But
It's Notre Dame, but no, I didn't. You're right.
What do you mean it's Notre Dame? It's Notre Dame.
Yeah, but not to the people who actually live there.
You're
No,
not
it's
the one
Notre
who
Dame to the
comment.
people who actually live there. If we're gonna be
Notre Dame to the people who
Notre
actually
Dame.
listen there or live there. But the point is, Notre Dame is the shitty college with the even more shitty football team.
After the fire, like a couple of days later, some dude walked into St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City with like 2 gas cans, and when people asked him what happened, he said, "Oh yeah, my car broke down, and I was going to use this as a shortcut." But it was only a couple days after a famous church burned down. This guy walks into a nationally famous church with 2 gas cans and most likely a lighter. So some might say that this is an inspiration for any religious persecution.
So you're telling me he
yeah.
didn't get in any trouble? Because he didn't actually try to start any fire, did he?
He wasn't caught in the act of trying to start a fire, but he had the materials and he was at the location of which he could easily burn down a famous church.
Well, as long as you got the materials, any location is a good location for a fire. I'd wager. Right?
Says the man who just claimed to burn down the most famous cathedral in the world.
Did it burn all the way down?
No. It did.
No,
Just the roof, right?
well,
top
on the spire.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
we can hear you.
you sound pretty good.
Yeah,
You sound
Okay,
about right.
word.
you're as the saying
Word.
goes.
All right.
You're 3 by
So
5.
the nice thing about, well, not nice thing, but the interesting thing is that Notre Dame was going under renovations, right? Which is why they think the fire started was an electrical fire due to renovations. But they had just taken the original statues off that spire 4 days before the fire happened. So they were going to do repairs to the roof and spire anyway, had the statues down. So now they'll just rebuild it and put the original statues back on. So
Silver linings, baby. Silver linings in Notre Dame.
And you know why there was an electrical fire? Because they were using non-union electricians. Fucking rats. That was the problem right there.
That's the problem right there. But the other-
Unionize.
Exactly.
yeah.
Something I read for the repairs part is that since the inside is completely pretty much burned a little bit, they're actually going to be taking, pictures from one of the Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah.
Unity, because some dude was there and studied it for years to get every detail right. So they're gonna be looking at that for the rebuilding process.
Well,
So
cool.
The depiction of Notre Dame in Assassin's Creed Unity is perfect. They made
the rest of the game was shit.
well, yeah, the game itself was shit, but it wasn't. I don't know. That's a whole different fucking conversation. But the point is, Notre Dame, as depicted in Assassin's Creed Unity, is exactly brick for brick how Notre Dame is made in real life. So when they try to rebuild Notre Dame, they can look at Assassin's Creed Unity, and this is better than just pictures, right? Because you can move the
model.
camera around.
Yeah.
It's a model. There's a lot of good things about Assassin's Creed games, but that's one of the best things about it is, should some freakish accident happen such that a historical monument or building is damaged, there's accurate 3D models in these games.
All right. Well, that's terrific. Who says there's nothing good coming out of video games? Now, when people go into Notre Dame, they're not only going to get this brick-by-brick recreation of the original article, but they're also going to get that new cathedral smell.
Yeah.
Can I just say that I find it interesting that the infamous Sasquatch from Azkaban wants to say Notre Dame with a short A?
Thank you. I was going to say that.
Yeah, that's a good deduction there. I would never.
Why'd you take a left turn on Notre Dame, Dad?
Elsie,
I think
Elsie,
somebody needs to learn how to pronounce A correctly.
Elsie has been wanting all week to say Sasquatch of Azkaban.
She's been waiting for some organic way to shoehorn that into a conversation. It just popped up.
Right.
You know.
In order to humiliate me.
Congratulations.
In order to humiliate me. Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished.
She didn't humiliate you. I'm pretty sure you did that yourself when you
You're the one
incorrectly pronounced those words time and time again. But that's besides the point.
It is beside the point for sure, because Sasquatch is a correct pronunciation, as is Azkaban.
And no, it's not. But whatever. Let's move on. So,
So that's all the news that fits, right? Oh, hey, one other quick piece of news that is kind of pressing, which is that new information out Friday indicates that there's 1.4 million people more uninsured than there were in 2016. So over the last 2 years...
Shocker.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, didn't see that coming.
Right? Interestingly enough, 17% of Americans believe that Obamacare no longer exists. Yeah, well, I mean, hey, there's been a whole campaign that says we're going to repeal and replace at some
Right.
point.
So clearly that's happened, right?
At a certain point.
Well, they must have did that.
Right.
Well, I was sleeping.
Guess I can't get insurance. Anyway, so that happened. Yeah. All right, so that's all the news. That's all the news that fits.
All right, good. So let's do some questions. We want to do some questions, or I got some cool facts. I got some factoids. What do you want to hear? What do you want to get into first?
Well, let's get in. Yeah,
I have
agree.
some legends, factoids. Okay, all right, okay.
Now we're all going to react to these factoids, correct?
Of course,
Sure.
of course. So there's the legend. All right. Now, of course, legends are often embellished, but there's got to be some grain of truth to it to still be circulated in today's day and age, right? So there's the legend of, I'm going to butcher this, but here we go.
Yeah.
Saito Musashibo Benkei, a Japanese warrior who is said to have killed in excess of 300 trained soldiers by himself while defending a bridge. He was so fierce in close quarters that his enemies were forced to kill him with a volley of arrows, and he died standing upright. So to which I say, maybe start with the arrows next time.
That's I would agree with that. So
You think maybe after 150 people, no one was like, maybe we should do the arrows. Nah, he's got to be getting tired by now. Let's send another 150 after him and see how that goes.
Yeah, maybe after the first 10 or 15, huh?
Yeah.
Maybe just start off with something that will instantly kill him instead of maybe accidentally getting him once or twice.
Sounds like this guy was the inspiration for the invention of the hand grenade.
Yeah. You know, I heard, this is kind of off topic from that, but there's this Navy SEAL on one of Joe Rogan's podcasts that was talking about how much he hates how hand grenades are depicted in movies, how they're not as effective as it seems, and there's never a giant explosion of fire. That doesn't happen.
Having thrown a hand grenade, and oh, by the way, it's great fun, can confirm.
Yeah. I hear that the hand grenades is depicted in the movies, which makes sense. I mean, you know, otherwise there's no point in having it in the movie if you're not.
I mean, fucking everything is depicted in a movie as being more, bombastic, if you will.
Yeah.
Good point.
But so then there's, I'm reading through the comments of this, people doubting. But there's another story of some Viking that I can't find. But anyway, there's this Viking on this bridge, Samson Bridge, I believe, who is supposed to have held back something between 200 and 300 Englishmen on this bridge. And the only way, this is the part I do remember, that they could defeat him was one of the Englishmen got in a boat and went into the stream underneath the bridge and stabbed a spear up through the bottom of the bridge into his testicles, thus incapacitating him and allowing him to be killed.
Huh. Kind of Vlad the Impaler.
A little fact to add to that, actually the same bridge as the other guy.
Right.
For some reason, this Viking was on the same bridge as this Japanese samurai.
Right.
Well, Vikings are very established sailors, you see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And badasses, apparently.
Set an open course for the open sea.
Right.
Is that Rush?
No,
Here's the thing.
yeah.
I always get Rush and Styx confused.
Yeah, it's
I
Styx.
hear a Rush and or Styx song, and I'm like, is this Rush or is this Styx?
That's only because you're young. When you're my
Yeah.
age, you would know instantly.
For
Yeah.
sure.
I
Or
know,
if
it's
you
kinda
actually
shameful.
listen to it for
I
more
do.
than
I listen to them both. All right, who's Tom Sawyer by?
Rush.
Mark Twain.
Okay, but what if... Okay, fair enough. But then who is Renegade? Who's that?
Sticks.
Sticks, yeah.
Come on, man. They sound pretty close.
No,
You
not
know?
at all. No, they
We're gonna-
don't.
Look, offline, we're going to play these songs side by side and show you just how wrong you are.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the lead singer of Rush sounds very distinct. You should know Rush when you hear it, separate
I
from
do. I know
Even if you
that it's
get
one of
stuck
those
on-
guys,
Right.
at least.
So, yeah, I would say Dennis DeYoung is as different from Geddy Lee as
I
Most
thought
Def
Geddy Lee
is.
was the bass player.
Geddy Lee also is the vocalist. He's both.
Holy shit, I'm so ignorant. All right.
Yeah, true. But in any event, yeah, so I would say that Geddy Lee is to Dennis DeYoung as Most Def is to, say, Tupac.
Jay-
Did you just say two-pack?
I did.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah, he
Oh,
did.
Yeah, he did.
All right, you know what? Let's not even.
I feel like he's doing it intentionally now.
Yeah.
But what do you mean?
On a funny.
That one was on purpose. It had to be.
What do you mean? It's Tupac, isn't it?
No, it's not,
All right.
Dad.
Well,
It ain't.
all right.
I'm sorry. It was
Question.
never that. It's Tupac.
Question for you guys: Is it Rihanna or Rihanna?
Rihanna.
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 It's
She
Rihanna.
says Rihanna.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Losers,
that's real
ignorant
shit.
losers.
That's real fucking shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I'll tell you right now that Tupac never said Tupac.
You don't know. You don't know,
You
bro.
know that. I've
You
heard
don't
you.
know.
Did you meet him?
I mean, I did meet. All right, you know what? All right, I didn't want to say this. This is kind of big news. But Tupac is still alive. All right, and I hang out with him on the regs. All right.
Right. Yes, it's you, Tupac, Sasquatch, and whatever else I
And the
mispronounced.
fucked up part is he does actually say Tupac.
Oh, that's wonderful. All right. Anyway, I forget where we're at now. Something about
All right,
samurais
so that
and
was some.
testicles.
That was just some bullshit.
okay.
You know, samurai.
Factoids. Yeah.
You know that last factoid was in the annals of time. I'm not exactly sure when that was, but it was when they were still samurai. All right, and they're still using fucking arrows. Now here's something a little more recent. 1904. All right. There's a Swedish sailor. His name is Carl Emil Peterson. Okay, Carl Emil Peterson. He was shipwrecked on an island in Papua New Guinea, inhabited by cannibals.
Yes.
The king's daughter fell in love with him. They married, and he eventually became king of the island.
But did he become a cannibal?
Well, so I read a little farther into it, and it said that those islands, it didn't say they were all cannibals. It said that cannibalism was not uncommon in that region.
Oh, I see.
But,
So we don't know is the answer.
So, in
yeah,
other words,
they may have dabbled in cannibalism. Who knows? But the point is, are you familiar with Pippi Longstocking?
yes, of course.
Her father is based off this guy.
I
Oh, I
see.
didn't know that.
And he was unusually strong. The article mentions something about him being really freakishly strong, and the locals referred to him as Strong Charlie. And so what he did was he started a plantation on this island, a coconut plantation.
If you will.
Yeah, if I can say that, I think I can. And he was a king. Technically, he was the king. So like all these people were his subjects, but he considered them as his employees, and he like cared about his employees.
Right.
Gave
Right.
them reasonable hours and shit, which was unheard of in the world period, and especially on Cannibal fucking Island, right?
Absolutely.
So all the natives just called him Strong Charlie. That was his name on the island, and they loved him. He was like one of the best kings he ever fucking had. So this lady, the king's daughter, who he married, then the king died, he became king. He had 9 children with this woman.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then
That
he
is
went back
literally the best case scenario for shipwrecking.
It is a best case scenario. Instead of getting eaten by the cannibals, you become king of the cannibals.
Right.
That's but here's another thing, right?
Yeah.
So he starts to get, I think him and his wife both get malaria.
As one does on Papua New Guinea.
Yeah, like you do.
Right, as is the custom. And so then they went back to Sweden. Actually, I think they went to Australia, whatever, to get some treatment
Right.
of some kind. And so then they get some treatment. They come back, and his plantation is suffering quite horribly when he gets back. So he's almost bankrupt. So he tries to bring back the plantation through him being there and all this, I don't know, Swedish businessman type panache, if you will. But it's not working out. It's hard to fucking come back from his bankruptcy on this island of cannibals. So then all of a sudden he just finds gold underneath his fucking castle on this island. Like a shitload of gold. And to this day,
yes,
where that gold deposit was found is still one of the biggest gold deposits in the world.
And a source of enormous environmental problems on Papua New Guinea. But
I'm sure, yes.
That's neither here nor there. So the bottom line is that this guy gets shipwrecked, becomes a king, gets malaria, strikes gold, and then presumably dies.
Yeah, then he dies.
Yeah, okay.
He had otherwise God-tier experiences.
And
so
yeah.
Like he was 17 too. He was like 17 to 20 when he shipwrecked. You know, he was just working for some German shipping company in New Guinea, which is weird in of itself, right? That's
not a good time.
He was freakishly strong. That's
it's not weird, yeah, I guess, but it's, you know, cool. It's a Swedish guy working for a German shipping company in New Guinea, gets washed up on some cannibal island, becomes king of the cannibals, starts a plantation, finds gold underneath his castle, and then dies of malaria.
Yeah, I forgot about the whole coconut plantation thing. But it does sound to me as though he was not required to become a cannibal, but human flesh may have been on the menu, but it's like a choice. You know,
for sure. Like, what did they serve at that wedding party? What did they serve at the reception? You know, there was dumb human meat. Not all human meat, not exclusively human meat, but some there to try. You know what? Here's another question I'm just going to make up off the top of my head.
Yes.
Is there any circumstance, whether it be for money, I'm not going to say starvation, because we'd all eat a person for starvation. Or maybe not, whatever. But if someone had, like, you know, somebody, they sucked, they were a piece of shit, and they got murdered. Somebody killed this man. It's like a Dexter type scenario where he's a serial killer for serial killers, all right? And then he cooks the dude up on he slices some fucking back straps off this dude and cooks him up on a George Foreman grill. Just one little bite. One bite on a fork. Would you take a bite of human meat?
Yeah, of course.
Just one bite. You'd take a bite.
Absolutely, and I'll tell you why. Because I've had experience not eating human flesh, but I was at
really thought I was going there.
No, I was at a dinner in Afghanistan outside the wire, what's known as an iftar dinner, and this bowl of soup was passing down a long line of elders. At least 15 Afghan men took a bite of this soup from the same spoon, put the spoon back in the bowl, passed it on down the line, and it came to me. I was towards the end of the table. What do you think I did?
You took a bite of that fucking soup.
I took a bite of that soup. You better believe I did. So I've already... Oh, it's delicious. I've eaten...
Sacrifices you've made.
Exactly. So my point is this, that I've already tasted the microbiomes of 15 Afghan men already.
Okay.
It's great.
Fair enough. I would do it too. I'd take my original question, I was asking this everyone at work, but would it be a rat? If someone killed a big old rat and then just sliced a little backstrap off it, cooked it up on a George Foreman grill to a point where you know you're not going to get sick. It's just all about the taste. Would you take a bite of that rat?
Yeah, well, the rat thing's not that crazy. Because if you think about it, I mean, people eat squirrels all the time. It's like they're both rodents.
Yeah.
Okay,
one
so...
has a bushy tail, one doesn't.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not really crazy about the whole let's eat some rodent. You know, I'm just not crazy about it.
Okay, so you would refuse the one bite of rat meat?
But you would eat a human.
I'd have to be starving to eat rat, but I'd have to be merely hungry to eat human.
Okay, so all right, okay. There's plenty of people who just refuse to eat the rat. I was like, what about for $1,000? If someone gave you $1,000, would you take one bite of that rat meat? And they're like, nope, I'd rather die.
I feel...
Are you fucking kidding me?
Really?
I feel real stupid for not holding out for the money, quite frankly.
Well, I guess, but, you know, I was just like, I would try that shit for free. I would just try it, just to try it. And you wouldn't do it for $1 million. You're a liar. Or you're stupid.
I'd do it for 10.
Yeah.
For any money, really.
I'd do it for free. Any amount of money, I'd eat that shit.
Yeah. Elsie, Brad, what are your thoughts about eating both human flesh and rat flesh?
So, interestingly enough, I've read articles where women's bodies are so absorbent that DNA from any man they've ever slept with can be detected in their body. So, A, creepy and gross. But yeah, I'd eat rat. Like, I'm not saying I'd do it for free because I'm not weird like Nick, but I would do it for money.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, you would do it for money. Now hold on. Here's my counter question. What's the lowest amount of money? $500. Would you do it for $500?
Yes, I would do it for 500. Yes.
All right.
How about $450?
No.
Okay.
Well, we know where the line is. Rat meat for $500.
All right, Brad.
All right. So for a person, if it's on a George Foreman grill, it's got to be peak perfection. And if he approves of it, if our Lord and Savior George Foreman approves, I kind of have to eat it, or else what type of person am I to deny
I like
George
your attitude,
Foreman?
dude. I like your fucking attitude
And for
about
the
that.
For the rat, I'd eat it for free because I can make some friends out of it. Because, who else knows someone who's eating rat
See?
for free?
There's that sense of adventure and devotion to George Foreman that I like to see here in today's youth.
I'd like to talk to you about my religion.
That's a different conversation for a different time.
Solely on George Foreman grills.
I understand. It's the Church of George.
Point of it, though, the whole George Foreman thing, I just want it to be like, some people would base their answer off like, well, I don't want to eat a human. I don't want to eat an innocent person, or rats have diseases, so I don't want to eat that. I'm just talking about like you made it so that the human's a piece of shit. You got no qualms about them being dead. It's just some no strings attached, guilt-free human meat. And also, for the rat meat, it's cooked to the point, disease-free. There's no disease, so it's just the taste. It's solely about the taste.
Yeah, fuck it.
One could argue that with it being a random stranger, it's almost, you could have some form of survivor's guilt. But
nah, it wouldn't be a random stranger. It'd be like a serial killer type deal.
Oh, it'd be a bad. Oh, wait a minute. I would rather. Sorry,
that one dude at work who always just fucking farts and walks away.
Hey, I'm that dude. So.
But listen. I would rather eat the flesh of a good person. I would think that the human flesh of an evil person would have
like how they donate their body to science, but they donate their body to cannibalism. Someone real nice and healthy. Let's say Joe Rogan was like, yeah, when I die, I'm gonna serve my body, my flesh up to these random individuals.
I don't really think Joe Rogan's that healthy. I'd probably eat Elon Musk.
Yeah. No, wait a minute.
Elon Musk is not healthy.
Times healthier than Elon fucking Musk.
Wait,
let me tell you something right now.
He does. Elon Musk sleeps in his office and shit. Like, he goes crazy.
I would almost
stressed.
Bet my left nut that Elon Musk is on some kind of mild to moderate amphetamine just to be able to fucking to stay awake and run two different, possibly billion off the books companies, $1 billion companies. You know what I mean? It's a lot of shit. SpaceX and Tesla. He's running both of those fucking companies. He's sleeping in his office. You're going to tell me he's not taking nothing? Not
to forget the Boring Company.
Joe Rogan's got that fucking supplements, dog. He eats that elk meat out in the forest that he hunts and shit. He works out.
He does, but I'm just going to say this, and I don't want to make, human cannibalism, which celebrity would you most like to dine on their flesh? I don't mean to make it weird, okay? But what I am suggesting is that, I don't know, I feel like I would rather eat a female celebrity than a male. And someone that is widely regarded, like, for example, maybe the flesh of Emma Thompson.
Are you making it sexual?
No, not at all.
I think I'm sensing some homophobia or some shit right here,
I just want the healthiest. Is it someone who's a little chubby, so they got a little fat, so it's like cows? Does that?
Yeah, you want some marbling,
or is it some? Yeah, maybe. Do you want the marble in the meat, or do you want someone? Maybe someone like Joe Rogan's not who you want because he works out like a motherfucker. He's
too lean.
It brings a new meaning to eat a dick.
Well, I don't want that part. I mean, I'm thinking. What are we thinking?
I'm thinking more along like the thighs or the back straps or
definitely the loin.
I think the fat would make human meat taste better.
I guess it depends on what kind of fat it is. So, where did you gain this fat?
Well, it doesn't.
See the fat on cows. You know what I mean? They get it from grass. You know what I mean?
Well, or
I don't
corn.
know if that matters.
No, well, hang on now. Yeah, it does kind of.
It might, yeah. Like organic.
How could we know? How could we know if the marble in human meat gained from eating sugary foods and McDonald's and shit is a different taste than the marbling in cow meat that they gain just from grass?
I see your point. So
what I'm saying?
I do, but I'm thinking like somebody who's heavier set yet still kind of healthy. Not like the This Is Us gal, too big, right? That doesn't seem healthy to me.
Yeah, too big. Maybe something like a Vince Vaughn in Wedding Crashers.
Maybe.
you want-
I could see that. Yeah.
Did you just have that ready to go? Like, why?
No,
Why
I
was
just
that
needed a
ready?
hefty celebrity, but not too hefty. Vince
Okay.
Vaughn's a good example. He's like hefty, but he's not fat. for
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
You're saying like Chris Evans would be too gamey?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's way too
much,
tough.
Yeah, too much. It'd be too hard to chew.
Right,
Like
absolutely.
cassowary meat.
I do have the perfect human flesh to eat, though. Marilyn Monroe. That'd be perfect.
Okay.
I mean, she's healthy.
Why?
Probably. Yeah.
Assuming you could time travel and collect the meat when it's still fresh.
And she's
Yeah, I'll say now probably.
Right.
Oof.
Yeah. Well,
By
right.
now, the meat's tarnished for sure.
Well, I would think it would be primarily worm food at this point.
Probably just bones. But I wonder if bone marrow from humans. You know, when I worked at that steakhouse, that was one of the appetizers was bone marrow.
Really?
Yeah, you just cut, I guess maybe the fucking foreleg of a cow right in half.
Yeah.
And I think they boiled the fucking bone in some
so the marrow's cooked.
some sort of broth. Yeah, get that flavor to it. And then they just saw that shit right in half and you just eat the marrow out of the bone. That was about a $25 to $30 appetizer right there. But it looked disgusting. I've never eaten it. I've heard it's good, though. I've heard bone marrows to be enjoyed
I
and
see.
under the right preparation.
When I was coming up, I knew kids who would just.
Trump International Hotel, and it was disgusting.
So now we know.
Bone marrow, no good. But so here's the thing. What about old bone marrow? What about Marilyn Monroe's bones? Should we decide to exhume her? Would that bone marrow still be good? Would it be better?
I think one could find more nutritional benefit from a person who's actually alive. Say Alex Jones. If we eat Alex Jones, we're going to find more nutritional value than someone who is dead.
I wonder what Alex Jones' skeleton looks like.
Oh my
I
God.
feel like it would look
Like
like
everyone else's skeleton.
Nah. I think his would look a little bit different, like a little bit wider, a little
Y'all-
bit stockier, kind of like a dwarf.
Y'all-
Like if you took
Okay.
an X-ray of him, it would show that his arms and his legs aren't even where his hands and feet are. You know what I mean? Like his actual finger bones would be somewhere in his forearms, and the bones in his toes would be like midway through his shins.
Are you talking about something kind of like the fucked up like Wall-E skeletons?
What are Wally
don't-
skeletons? I have no idea.
Yeah,
what
you
you're
ever seen
talking
the movie Wall-E? You know when they're all fat and they have like their bones.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I don't remember their skeletons being fucked up. I guess that was never.
I'm pretty sure there's
No,
like
that
a
was in
scene
there.
where they went
Because they've been sitting all the time and they're just
That makes sense.
dissolving their bones into
I
their
was kind of
mushy
thinking more
fat.
along the lines of like a dwarf from mythical, stories, like having its skeleton implanted in a human.
Y'all, I
You're saying
need to
they
interrupt.
ripped his skeleton out and gave him Gimli's skeleton?
No, something more like it was more scientific. Like they just took a Gimli skeleton, let's say, they just had it on the table and they just grew a regular sized human body over the skeleton. That's what Alex Jones is.
I don't like that thought.
Yeah.
You remember have you guys seen The Sixth Element?
Yes.
Fifth element. The fifth element.
Sorry, The Fifth Element. I'm thinking of Sixth Sense because I also had Bruce Willis in it. But The
Well,
Fifth
that's-
Element, yeah, where it's just like that little piece of bone they find and then they like reform
Oh,
the
yeah.
bone, reform the muscle over it. They did that, but with Alex Jones over a dwarf skeleton.
Maybe.
That's
That's
okay.
possible.
All right.
But now, when you say that, think about this. What are the odds that one actor would star in two hit movies, one with the word fifth in it and another one with the word sixth in it? I'd say he's due for a seventh hit.
Yeah, maybe like The Seventh Boner or something like that.
Seventh boner. That doesn't make sense. Why?
Bruce Willis is going to finish up his career doing porn.
Okay,
can
fine.
see
Why
it.
not?
This has been great. Now what?
I'm watching this video right now of Gravity Industries' $440,000 jet suit. The future is here, y'all. It's just not affordable yet.
It's like kind of like a jetpack, but for your whole body.
Dude, it's so cool. This guy's literally flying across this lake right now.
I think I've seen that. Yeah. All right. So here's a question I want you all to think about. If you could have a convenient power, not a superpower, just a convenient power, what would it be?
I already have one of those. It's called distraction.
Hold on a minute.
I can get distracted by anything at any time for any length of time. It's very
That's
convenient.
How is that convenient?
Yeah.
It's so inconvenient. Can't get shit done.
It's convenient to him because he enjoys it. It's inconvenient to literally everyone else.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That's a solid answer.
So what we're all thinking, just back on that note, Sarah, have you guys seen the Galaxy Fold?
Yeah.
Is that the future that's not affordable yet, too?
No, that's
I don't know.
Yeah,
That's,
it's a piece of shit that's not working. So my non-superpower would be to anticipate things that are just about to happen.
that would be convenient. You'd be able to live forever, and or win the lottery every week.
no, because if you know things that are just about to happen, you might know what numbers are going to be picked, but
Oh, it'd be
Like,
too like.
the place and
Oh
time.
my God! Ultimate frustration.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. You're,
Not really, because you could choose like when to take advantage of it. He said it couldn't be a real superpower, so I'm thinking that would be something that's like not super, but like enhancement.
Yeah, a not superpower. How about not having hearing loss? That would be great. Having like perfect vision and hearing. I would take that.
that would be good. That would be quite good. 2015 vision for your entire life and perfect hearing.
Yeah. Maybe
How
even
about, like-
slightly enhanced hearing. I will take it.
Okay, good.
Ooh.
I like that.
Like, what was it? Somewhere between like Daredevil and a hawk?
Yeah.
Hearing?
Yeah, exactly.
Hawk's got the eyesight. They don't got the well, I guess
That's right. I want both.
Okay.
I want a hawk's eyesight and Daredevil's hearing.
that's kind of 2 in 1 though.
Well,
Daredevil is a superhero, so to have his hearing would be kind of like
Like-
superpowers.
I
How
feel
about
like I'd rather
half
have the
Daredevil?
hearing.
Wouldn't you rather have the sight? You've had
I
shitty
can get-
eyes your
I can
whole
get
life.
LASIK. I can get LASIK.
I guess, yeah.
And yet have you.
Well, no, I don't want to spend the money.
Right, there you go. So
But
there
I
you
could.
Yeah.
The option's there. There is no reconstructive surgery for my hearing loss right now.
That's true. Well, so and then Noah, have we heard from you? What?
No. So my superpower, I think, like how low level is
Convenient
this?
power. It can't be super. It couldn't be anything you could be considered a superhero for. Just
Could it
something
be
that
like-
helps you.
So not having to take a shit like ever, would that count?
That's fine.
Because that would save a fuck ton of time, dude.
That'd be
Like I never have time to take a shit.
All right. Okay. Good. I think that's a
That is a
legitimate.
convenient power. That's a good answer.
That's highly legitimate.
I was going to say something along the lines of I always leave on time, so I'm never late. That would be
That'd be good.
convenient.
Yeah, I like that. I'd say that's a winner.
You know, never having to take a shit kind of changed my answer. My answer was, at first, every time I get in bed, as soon as I get in bed, I go to sleep. That would be a very cool, convenient power. Like, when I'm ready to go to sleep, I just go to sleep immediately. No matter what, as soon as my head hits the pillow. But what would be it? This is almost a superpower, but just to never have to sleep at all. Imagine what you could get done if you did not require sleep.
You could think about sleeping.
Oh yeah, you can think about sleeping.
Jay gonna
Dude,
do it.
I had a dream the other day that I was sleeping. So I was dreaming about being asleep and dreaming. I was like, why?
I
Why?
had a dream the other day
Inception
that I had a UFC fight on a cruise ship during Halloween. We were on
Well, that's infinitely cooler than dreaming about being in
What
your
the
own
fuck?
we
bed.
were on a cruise ship, and I looked outside, and it was dark, and the ocean was turbulent, but there was orange lights all over the ocean, like orange lamp lights. I knew it was Halloween. And
Okay.
I had a fight, like, and everybody was going to watch it. And it was like, oh, so why are you fighting? I was like, yeah, I just wanted to fight. I mean, I
Like
wanted
where
to
the
fight
pool
somebody.
is instead was an octagon.
Yeah, well, and then I was weighing in and stuff, and you know, they were like, "Oh, you ready?" And then I saw the guy was going to fight, and I was like, "I don't think I knew what I was getting into, when I started, but I'm doing it. I can't back up now, so here we go."
Yeah.
And then it was just the anticipation of this fight before I ever woke up. I never fought.
Anyway, while we're figuring this out, another one, like a good runner-up power, would be like never forgetting anything right as you walk out the door. Like,
Oh
anyway,
fuck yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
fucking.
Some people
know,
actually
like
have that
eggs or-
power. Some people can't forget anything. They say
That's
it's
true.
not cool.
the
though.
eidetic memory or whatever.
Yeah, like you don't forget anything that ever
Well,
happens to you.
That sounds
I heard
fucking
it's-
crazy.
Yeah, there's people, you can look it up, dude. There's videos like they'll be like, so on 34 years ago, March 31st or 30th. I don't know if there's 31 days in March. In 1974, what were you doing? And they'll be able to tell you.
Yeah. Actually, you know who someone like that is? Mary Lou Henner, who played, I forget her name. You see, forgetting. Her last name was Nardo. I think it was like Lorraine Nardo, but definitely Nardo. Anyway, her name is Mary Lou Henner, and she hasn't forgotten a thing her entire life.
Yeah, I've heard from people generally that that's not enjoyable.
She says it is. She says it's great. She can.
I guess it carries or it varies from person to person. Then
So what about if you just keep a journal though? I mean, is that like
that's the old-fashioned way.
Right.
That's the analog way. Some people got it all digital. Baby.
Right. Keeping a journal, a superpower. It is.
No shit.
Actually, almost everything we've said could be done, with the exception of not taking a shit for the rest of your life. But almost
Sad
everything.
media.
Also, not sleeping forever would completely destroy your brain.
Well, that's true. You couldn't do that. But you could train yourself to fall asleep pretty easily. You could train your vision and hearing. You can get your eyes fixed. You can, improve.
Not to Daredevil level, dude.
Well, that's true.
And also, I don't think you can train your hearing. I always heard that as much as your hearing deteriorates, that's as good as it's ever going to be. You can't get it back.
I've
Yeah,
heard that.
sure.
Well,
too.
hearing aids.
So now that connection has gotten slightly better, we're gonna have a take 2 on what my superpower would be, and I think mine would just be like reading people's moods like way better. Like you can just talk to someone and like instantly know how they're feeling, so like it judges how the conversation's gonna go out.
You see
Almost
like a
like
mood
reading
ring,
their mind, but
Yeah.
not quite.
Yeah,
an
like-
aura.
I can ask like, how are you doing, and then they say fine. I can tell like how not fine they're doing.
Excellent.
Yeah, I like that.
That's a
I
good
do
choice.
like that.
Excellent choice. Well done.
I fucks with it?
That was worth waiting for.
So here we go. We're moving on. Does that everybody? Did everybody answer?
Yeah, I think so.
So if Earth was challenged to single combat, who do you think would be our champion?
Right
Oh.
now?
Nurmagomedov, man.
No.
No, what do you mean? Didn't he just win? Didn't
bad
Khabib just win?
He's got an attitude problem.
Khabib. Well, that doesn't matter. And fucking, I want them to have an attitude problem. They're fighting for the fate of the human race.
What if he decides he doesn't give a fuck?
Well,
Yeah.
then we'll get someone else. I don't know.
He's
But
like, he
assuming
throws the fight.
I think Khabib Nurmagomedov would give a fuck. I think if aliens came and were like, we challenge your best and greatest fighter to single combat or else we're just going to blow up your whole planet. And we
Here's-
came to Khabib and we're like, Khabib, please, you're the only one. I think he would do it.
Yeah, probably.
Show me what you got.
Yeah,
Tell you what you got.
Well,
if
alternatively,
an alien challenged us to present our best fighter, do you know how many of our best fighters would kill each other trying to become the best fighter?
Fine. That's good. Then only the strongest will survive. I don't care. But we're not. That's not the question. The question is, who would you choose?
I
Say
would.
you're the president of Earth. It's 300 years in the future, so there's no president of the United States or none of that. It's just president of Earth. You're president of Earth. Aliens come, they contact you, they say, choose a champion. And we have the power. It could be from any time. It could be anybody from any time.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, then obviously King David from the Bible, right? He kicked Goliath's ass.
Yeah,
Okay,
but he had a
alright.
stone in a sling. You don't think the aliens might have some kind of way around that? Like,
Also, was he real?
yeah, was he actually real and did that really happen?
Well-
That's kind of dicey.
Well, if we're going with mythical figures, okay. If we're going, I would choose
You're gonna
Santa
go with that
Claus.
Viking guy you were talking about.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, maybe the Viking on the bridge. That would be all
The
right.
really lucky, really strong, freakishly strong Pippi Longstocking dad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leonidas.
Strong Charlie, king of the cannibals. That's not a bad choice.
Also, the thing you would never forget is a delicious meal at Ziff's.
Oh my gosh, yes. Down in Invercargill, New Zealand, a relaxed continental atmosphere at Ziff's Fine Dining and proud fake sponsors of a Shinn Show, right along with the Throne Room, great tattoos right after your fantastic meal at Ziff's. Also in Invercargill, New Zealand, also a fake sponsor of a Shinn Show. Shout out to Ben, our only binge listener. Ben, hope you've enjoyed this shout out.
Hey, I'm going to do another shout out here to my wife and my mother who faithfully listen every week. They may not have binged it all in one go.
And just to
but-
be clear, these are different people. That's all.
Yeah, thanks for that.
The wife and the mother.
My wife and my mother. Like, come on.
Well,
How-
Yeah, you know,
First
I
of
When I
Hey,
first heard it, it
and
took me a
person B.
second.
got a pretty embarrassing text a couple days ago from this girl I used to date a long time ago. Oh, guess what I'm listening to? I was like, okay, stop
What?
listening.
yeah, stop that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, stop that.
Stop. That's what I tell everybody. Hey, I'd like to listen to your podcast. I tell them don't do it. Under
Yeah,
no
don't.
because this podcast, as we've already established, it's like Nebraska. It's not for everyone.
It's not for everyone. No,
true.
it's basically just for people who, if you've already met us and you already can stand us, then there you go. Maybe you could stand this.
Maybe. And there's
Maybe.
no guarantees of that either,
Yeah,
by
there's
the
no
way.
guarantee on that. That's a big maybe.
Yeah.
So no one has given me a real answer yet. I guess Elsie said the guy from the bridge, but I personally would want someone who I've seen or, someone a little more recent who I know.
Someone to whom there has proved their mettle.
Someone who's not a legend. You know what I mean? Someone who you've seen legendary shit. And after, you know what I should be doing? I'll collect the answers from everyone because I get these questions from Reddit. So there's always a top answer,
Right.
the top voted answer. So that'll be the right answer. So after I collect everyone's answer, I'll tell you what the right answer is.
Okay. Very good.
So continue though. So who's everyone's
Dad said Khabib Nurmagomedov.
I did.
Not a bad choice. Not a bad choice.
And I also want credit for pronouncing his name correctly.
You did.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good job. I will
How
give
many
you
episodes did it take?
All of them.
A couple.
All
Yeah.
of them, actually.
all of them up until this point.
That's
and
true.
Continuing into the future.
Yeah. I'm still going to go with Pippi Longstocking's dad just for giggles.
King Cannibal Johnson. We'll
I
call
like
him.
that. Yeah. Good choice. Excellent choice.
Would do y'all think Bruce Lee would be in the outing for this one?
Oh,
that's a good one,
Yeah.
dude.
That's a
Bruce
very
Lee is a
good
good
choice.
one in the yellow jumpsuit that Kill Bill ripped off and with nunchucks.
Hell yeah!
That's a good choice.
Well, what about that guy from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon? Or that gal? I mean,
Jet Li?
What's that?
Is that Jet Li? Is
Yeah.
that Jet Li?
Nah, it's not Jet Li. I think it was Chung Ho Fat or Chung Yao Fat.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah. Fuck.
Or we, if we want to get technical, we could say Ip Man, the IP man, who was Bruce Lee's sensei.
Yeah, well, actually, if we're going with some fictional characters, we
Well,
obviously
no,
want...
Ip Man was real.
Oh, okay. Well, what
He
about...
was really Bruce Lee's master.
But can we go with some fictional characters? Because I would choose One Punch Man.
One punch!
Which actually did happen in that show. An alien came and was like, I'm going to destroy this planet. And
And he was like, finally, a worthy challenger.
yeah.
It did not take just one punch though.
Well, yeah, but it took one serious punch. When the fight gets serious, then he says, serious move, serious punch. And then he punches him seriously. And then that's when
On that note, has anyone seen the first episode of season 2 of One Punch Man?
Dude, I've
I
seen
have
the
not.
second episode of season 2, bro. Get up on your shit. It's on Hulu every fucking Tuesday,
It's
bro.
on Hulu. It's
Tuesday.
on whatever.
It's on Hulu. It's on Crunchyroll. It's on AnimeUpdate.com. Watch that shit every Tuesday. New episodes, season 2 of One Punch Man. Cannot recommend it enough. If you haven't seen the first season, get your head out of your ass and watch it right now.
One
So
Punch,
good.
a new sponsor of a Shinn Show.
Coming straight out of Japan.
Right. And it is a good show. Even
It's
I
a
like
good
it.
fucking show.
It is.
You've never seen it, Dad. I know that for a fact, but okay.
All right. So, Elsie, go.
I said, who knew my head was in my ass?
I know everything I need to know if you're not watching One Punch Man. How about that?
And Brad, you've seen One Punch Man, have you not?
I have indeed, but I have not seen season 2 yet. I've just seen season 1 like 3 times.
You got Hulu, right?
Yeah, me and Brad.
Y'all got Hulu at the house? No?
Well, okay, Brad,
Okay,
we'll
doesn't
watch
matter.
that.
Guess what? I got something that's free. It's called anime-update.com, 100%
Or-
free. All
Or
that shit.
www.5.gogoanime. There's like 15,000 of those fucking sites. Where you
No,
go.
dude, www.anime-update.com. Got all that good shit for free. So, yeah, watch that shit every Tuesday, bro.
All right. Fantastic.
Got a little hype there. Got hype for that One Punch Man.
Yeah, you did. You
Fuck
did.
yeah.
You got really
Gotta
almost
wipe the sweat off your brow.
right. Good. Take 5. All right. Good. All right. So we've really covered some significant ground, but I forget where we were. We were discussing whether or not an alien.
Oh, yeah.
if-
What's the correct
Earth's
answer?
champion. The
Yeah.
Earth's champion. Oh, you want me to tell you the correct answer?
Yes, I would
Okay.
like to know that.
The correct answer is Jackie Chan under the condition that the fight takes place in a room full of vases that neither champion wants to break.
I like that. I like that.
Okay.
That was pretty close to Noah's answer.
Yeah, it
it's
was.
Bruce Lee.
It
Yeah.
sure was.
The second, the runner-up is Florida Man.
Yes.
Ubiquitous Florida man.
What? Wait a minute. What's Florida Man? I'm not sure I understand that.
Any Florida man.
Okay, I'll tell you. Let me explain to you what Florida Man is.
Yes, please.
So on Reddit or even on news in general,
Yeah.
in the media, there's always stories about Florida man chases people with crocodile. Florida man runs naked into Walgreens with his dick in his hands. Florida man sets car on fire and shoots the flame out of his ass. There's always some kind of
crazy fucked up shit.
Florida man fucks gators and then gains custody in a Florida court case.
Yeah, so this Florida man, this mythical Florida man, who's always doing this crazy shit. You see these super crazy news stories of people doing wild, outlandish, off-the-wall shit. It's always some man from Florida who, as they will say in the news titles, in the headlines, Florida man does X, Y, and Z. So Florida man has become this legendary mythical person in Florida who is doing all these things at once.
He's busy.
Does that make sense?
He's super busy. And it does make sense.
He's a busy guy.
He is. Because, Florida man is eating people's faces while he's high on bath salts.
That's right. That's correct.
Right. He's, he's shooting his teenage neighbor for knocking on his door. He's doing all kinds of shit. You don't know what Florida man's going to do next.
No.
He's a little rogue.
Yeah, he's a rogue, He's an anti-hero.
Is that what you want to save the human race, though?
I mean, it's just a fight. It's a one-on-one fight, single combat. I think Florida man can,
But what if he shows up with a knife to that gunfight? You know what I'm saying?
It's not a gunfight. It's, hand to hand. It's like a UFC type deal. But Florida man,
that was a metaphor. That was a metaphor.
Listen,
he would pull the crocodile out of his ass.
But here's the thing.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
Here's the thing. This has already happened on the original Star Trek series. Captain Kirk had to fight a giant lizard, and he beat his ass. So
do you think Captain Kirk could beat Khabib Nurmagomedov in a fight?
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, yeah. Easy. Easy. You know how?
Khabib would like to know your location.
Captain Kirk could beat Khabib Nurmagomedov. He should.
Are you talking about with the Vulcan pinch?
No, that's Spock, dude.
Oh my God!
Didn't Spock teach that to?
It can't be taught unless you're Vulcan.
Okay.
Only Vulcans have the preternatural
I'm very
strength.
ignorant on this. That's the one nerdy thing I'm not into is Star Trek. So
I understand.
I'm very ignorant on all that.
It's the original nerdy shit right there.
Yeah.
That's OG nerd.
Just adopted the nerd.
Whereas
the Star Trek people were born into it.
That's true.
Molded by it.
Well, speaking of pop culture, okay, so still haven't seen anything other than yet more episodes of The Sopranos. That's it. That's all we've done. No reading, no nothing. Yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is, to quote Max Holloway, and it ain't what it ain't.
I haven't heard that. I haven't heard the corollary.
I watched the new Pet Sematary, but I haven't seen the old Pet Sematary, so I have nothing to compare it to.
And how did it stand on its own?
I don't know. It was fine. It was a horror movie.
I see.
Typical horror movie. You know what I liked most about it?
What?
It was 90 minutes long.
Nice. Get in, get out. I feel like there's nothing in horror movies. Actually, that's not true because us is all right. Get Out. Aside from those,
psychological.
Those psychological kind of get into your mind type thrillers, traditional horror movies such as Pet Sematary. It's all been done. You know what I mean? It's all been done. All the jump scares, all the people getting mutilated, all the fucking mangling. And
Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is coming out this summer.
I'm excited for that. I am going to watch that, yeah.
It's directed by Guillermo del Toro, I think. And
yes, it is.
Guillermo del Toro. Yeah. Didn't he make Pan's Labyrinth? Right?
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
Pan's Labyrinth and The Shape of Water.
Labyrinth,
as well as the Hellboy movies.
The first two, although there's a Hellboy reboot coming along.
It's fucking garbage.
Yeah, it is.
Have
garbage.
You seen it?
Did you see it?
No, I didn't see it. I just heard a few reviews.
Come on.
I know everything about it. So
get out of here.
I got a fun Hellboy fact. So in the movie, Hitler's in the movie in some capacity.
Yeah.
But in Germany, they censored it and changed Hitler to Stalin.
Oh, that makes sense. It does. Because to Germans, Stalin is Hitler. If that makes sense.
I think to Germans, Hitler is Hitler.
Yeah, I would say Hitler is Hitler, but whatever. That's fine. Where were we at? What are we doing?
We're talking about pop culture and media we've seen.
Yeah.
That's it. Well, I'm in the middle of of season 1 of The Sopranos, and I feel like I've been slogging through it for years.
Right.
I mean, it's pretty good, but I feel like I've been with the Soprano family for 80 years.
Well, listen, you can't get out. I mean, what's
Oh,
No one gets out.
no
no
one
one
gets
leaves Daddy's stable.
did not like that. Would like never to hear that again. Game of Thrones is the big one.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, but I've never watched. I take that back. I watched the first episode, and it was so much like the books. I'm like,
Yeah.
And anymore though.
Yeah, they diverge after like season 3, season 4.
I feel like such a hip. Like I haven't seen any of it because I don't have HBO, and now people are being made fun of for being that niche group that's like, I haven't seen none of that shit, dude. I don't watch none of that shit. But I really just haven't seen it. I know it's so good. So
Yeah,
many
you'd
people
like it.
told me to watch it. I know I would. I might just read the fucking books at this point. Fuck.
Why don't
have
you
those too.
start there? Start there. You'll enjoy those books. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
They're good books.
Well, I only
Excellent.
got through the first 3.
Oh,
I
really?
didn't pass that.
Most people crap out before the 5th.
Not
that's
me. Not me.
Well, I got, I don't have time to fucking read.
Book to get through the second book in the Aragorn series.
remember that?
Well,
Aragorn
Jesus
is the
fucking-
king of Middle Earth.
Hey,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
wish Viggo Mortenstein would come out of nowhere and just slice my head off right now for saying that. Aragon, yes, that's what I mean. Those are great books, but the second book was fucking.
what?
Yeah, no, it's a slog. I think all of those books after the first one are kind of a slog.
What?
There was a fourth one.
But
I
it's-
read the
it's not that
third
good.
one.
What are you talking about? The Aragorn books?
No, Aragon. Remember they
Aragon.
made an Aragon movie, which was an abomination. It's about this kid
God.
who finds a fucking dragon egg and then he raises the dragon.
Yeah. So Aragon spelled Eregon, right?
Yeah.
Got it.
Completely unrelated
ERA.
to Aragorn,
Yeah.
the last human king of whoever the fucking
Middle Earth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gondor.
But those were still
of the Theodore's line.
right. But they were still. I liked him though. I liked the lore. The dude had he had set up a lot of in-universe type shit, like the spells, the elven language and shit. It was just cool. You could really get immersed in it. But I'm talking about the Aragon series right now. But
Yes.
the second book, it flips. Aragon's learning. He goes and fucking lives with the elves or some shit to learn how to be a dragon rider. And then there's his brother who's living back in his old village, fighting off these creatures who are looking for Aragon. And then like some points, it'll be like every other chapter. So one chapter is Aragon's thing, and then it goes back to his brother, and then it's Aragon. But there's some points in the book where like I just wanted to skip through his brother back at the old village chapter, skip through that shit to get to what Aragon's doing. But then there's other points where what Aragon's doing is boring, and I just want to go back to what his brother's doing, fighting off these monsters in the village. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm kind of rambling. But the point
you
is
sure are.
that the third book was all right, and then I never read the fourth book.
Speaking of books that are hard to get through, the Quran, the Book of Mormon, the Bible, those are tough books to get through.
Dude, did you know Alexander the Great is in the Quran?
Sure.
He's like a featured character in the Quran.
Well,
crossover episode.
yeah, I don't know. I read several hundred pages of the Quran. He never came up.
Well, his name's not Alexander the Great in the Quran. It's something else
I
that
see.
translates to like he who has two horns or something.
I see.
Are you saying Alexander the
devil?
Great is the devil?
No, because having horns meant something different in those days. So they would call each end of the earth the horn of the earth. So what they were saying is that he had conquered.
Oh,
All
he
of-
had both horns of the earth or whatever.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, fascinating. Well, that's great. You know what I say? Good for Muslims.
Yeah, good for them for recognizing, putting some respect on Alexander the Great's name.
Right.
Back in the day.
Even though they didn't call him that. But anyway, good. Yeah, those are tough books. So happy Easter, everyone.
Happy Easter. Let's hope that Jesus comes back. He might come back tomorrow. Tomorrow might be the day. Do we know when the day is?
No, it will come as a thief in the night.
Yes. And tomorrow might be the day. Maybe everyone will wake up. Jesus is right there standing over you, over your bed with a roll of paper towels and a butcher knife right when you wake up.
Hey, Jesus, you want some chocolate?
Yeah. And you say, "Are you Jesus?" And he's like, sure. And then he runs out. Never seen him again. And that's where you were when Jesus came back.
He replaces our windshield, which just got busted by a rock.
Oh, wow, man. So you're the winch. This is why we told you
Is
not
it-
to podcast.
Is it like totally cracked or just a chip? Because I got like 6 or 7 chips I need.
Yeah, I got quite a
fix
few
my
chips.
windshield.
It is such a chip that it is a crack that is growing as we watch it.
Oh.
Oh shit!
Well,
Yeah,
here's
may want to pull over.
here's what's going to happen. They're gonna. Are you driving through Montgomery on your way down?
Not on our way down, but we sure can on our way up now.
Yeah,
which of course means we should trade it in for a new car.
That's what I'm saying right now, Holmes. Go get you a new Subaru. Treat yourself.
What's that got to do with Montgomery?
That's where we bought those Subarus, is Montgomery, Alabama.
Oh, okay.
So now we need new Subarus.
Montgomery.
Listen, once your windshield is cracked, you need a new car.
Yeah.
Whole new car.
I mean, sure. I guess if you can.
Right. Well,
if you have the means where it's like I can get a new car whenever I want, I just need an excuse to do it, then yes.
That sort of consumerist policy is why we have so much garbage, y'all.
I'm not sure I understand where you're going here. Actually, I do. So, yeah, anyway, just go get it fixed. It'll be about $1,400. That's what it costs. That's what a new windshield costs. Fortunately,
you don't need a new windshield. They have that.
No, you do. If it's cracked all the way across, you need a new windshield.
Especially on a car.
If it's cracked all the way across, yeah. I guess if it's growing as you watch. Okay, yeah, I saw that little.
Oh, yeah. You saw that?
Yeah.
That's bad news.
Traverse line of sight going north. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not too bad. I can see well past it. I'll be fine. It's just kind of annoying.
So you're telling me that this was not an Easter miracle?
It's the opposite.
The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. God be praised.
God be praised.
Well, anything else pressing? I guess, we could talk sports, but who's got the time? We've already been on so long. Anyway, great to talk to you, kids.
Word.
Yeah.
All right. A Shinn Show is a production of Shinfluence and features the voices and opinions of the Shinn family, which are entirely and exclusively their own. It's brought to you on a fake basis by Ziff's Fine Dining in Invercargill, New Zealand, and by The Throne Room, tattoos also in Invercargill, New Zealand. And you can get a Shinn Show anywhere that you get podcasts, including Apple Podcasts and Google Play Music. By all means, if you are hearing this right now, do not review. Do not tell anybody about it. This is not something for everyone.
Yeah, it's Fight Club type shit. If you know about this, just please don't even tell. Don't tell nobody, okay? Don't tell anybody.
It's not for everyone.
Dare tell us who.
No.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
Do you have any stickers or a Sharpie in your house that you could readily access?
Yes. Why?
Yeah, you want to go ahead and just mark which way's up on your harmonica there, Chief?
No. Actually, I was just going to say that's like a cool little intro. You start, that's a little flair you add at the beginning. So you start upside down like you're going to do it, do, and then you go.
Yeah. Like this.
Yeah. And then
Yeah, I see. I get your point.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, it sounds horrible.
Extending the soundbite.
Yeah, but I will say this, that nobody likes my harmonica playing anyway. So there you go.
That has been a staple of pretty much my entire life.
Yeah.
Well, fuck them.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
Dad, the vegetable marching song. How's that whole thing go?
What vegetable marching song?
Yeah, we kind of had argument over how it went. My gal's a vegetable.
Oh, yeah. Well, it goes, I don't know the whole thing because there's many verses, but there's a couple of them. My gal's a vegetable. She lives in a hospital, and I'd do most anything to keep her alive. She's got no hands or feet, just little clumps of meat, and I'd do most anything to keep her alive. She's got her own TV. It's called an EKG. And I do most anything to keep her alive. And it goes on from there, but those are the only two verses that I remember.
Okay. We only remembered the first one, just the clumps of meat part.
It really stuck with us.
Yeah. It's a classic marching Jody is what they call it.
A Jody.
Yeah. With all due apologies to those who might be in a hospital, obviously.
To actual real vegetables. But, if we're going to be real, if you're actually a vegetable, then you probably don't.
But the question is, would you eat those clumps of meat?
Well, if they were presented to me guilt-free.
Yeah, properly prepared. Who knows?
What do you mean by clumps? Are we talking about just a mound of meat, or maybe something that's a little bit sharpened at the elbows and maybe pelvis? We need to define what clumps of meat are in the context of a vegetable.
That's true. I mean,
are they still alive when we consume the meat? How is it cooked? These are the things we need to ask and define. before we make any judgments on clumps of meat and their consumption.
Also, is it considered a vegetable or a protein in this instance?
Yeah, I guess. Could you still be a vegetarian and consume this human flesh? It is a vegetable.
These are, as you would say, Nick, these are the questions.
These are the questions.
Yes. All right. Well, you know what? Let's leave that as a cliffhanger for next week.
Yeah.
All right. So join us again next week when we'll find out if a human vegetable is considered a meat or, in fact, a starch.
What?